We've seen the footage 1,000 times, but the truth behind why this global superstar refused to wear shoes on the world's most dangerous stages has remained a closely guarded secret, until now. The image of a 7-year-old girl standing on the cold, hard wood of a Norwegian stage in 2014 remains burned into the collective memory of the internet. While most child stars are dressed in the finest luxury brands, Angelina Jordan stood before the world completely barefoot. For years, critics dismissed this as a clever marketing gimmick designed to pull at the heartstrings of voters. But our investigative team has uncovered the haunting reality of a promise made on the streets of Iran. During a trip to the Middle East as a young child, Angelina encountered an orphaned girl whose feet were bleeding from the harsh pavement. In an act of radical empathy that many adults wouldn't even consider, the young singer handed over her own shoes, walking away in her socks. That orphan girl told her that her voice would one day heal the world, and in exchange, Angelina vowed never to perform with shoes until that promise was fulfilled. As we move through 2026, this pact has faced its greatest challenge yet. During her high-profile 2026 performances, insurance adjusters and venue managers at the Westgate reportedly raised massive safety concerns regarding her no-shoe policy on a stage filled with pyrotechnics and complex wiring. Yet, sources close to the production claim Jordan refused to budge, stating that her success is tied to that spiritual contract. This isn't just a style choice. It's a decade-long manifestation of a child's promise that has survived the cynical machinery of the music industry. But as the stages get bigger and the risks higher, many are asking if this silent pact is becoming a liability. However, even the most hardened industry veterans admit that there is a certain power in seeing a woman command a multi-million-dollar production with nothing between her and the earth. But while her feet were on the ground, her career was about to enter a corporate storm that nearly silenced her forever. Behind the glitz of the 2020 Golden Buzzer lies a dark chapter of legal battles and creative suppression that almost saw Angelina Jordan disappear from the charts entirely. Following her earth-shattering performance on America's Got Talent, the industry's biggest sharks began a feeding frenzy. Republic Records, home to some of the largest names in the galaxy, eventually won the signature of the young prodigy. On paper, it looked like a match made in heaven, but by 2024, rumors of a creative divorce began to leak from the inner circles of the Los Angeles music scene. Our report suggests that the label was pushing for a top 40 transformation, trying to force a generational jazz talent into a synthesized pop mold. Insiders claim that hundreds of songs were recorded during this period, yet almost none were released, leading to what fans called the Great Silence of 2023. The tension reached a breaking point in late 2024 when Angelina made the shocking announcement that she was leaving the major label system to go fully independent. In a world where labels own your masters, your image, and sometimes your very name, this was a move of extreme professional bravery. Documents and social media breadcrumbs from the 2025 transition suggest that Jordan had to fight tooth and nail to retain the rights to her creative direction. This divorce from the corporate machine wasn't just about money. It was a battle for the soul of her music. By 2026, the results of this freedom are undeniable. She began releasing tracks that ignored the 3-minute radio formula, opting instead for sprawling, soulful compositions that the Suits would have surely deleted. This independence, however, came with a heavy price tag, as she had to self-fund her own marketing and distribution. Yet, the gamble paid off, as her independent releases in 2025 saw higher organic engagement than her label-backed singles. The question now haunting the halls of Republic Records is simple. Did they let the greatest voice of a generation walk out the door because they couldn't control her? But the industry wasn't the only thing changing. Angelina's very biology was about to reveal a new mystery. Scientists and vocal coaches are calling it the Jordan frequency, a biological shift in Angelina's vocal cords that has defied the standard laws of human aging. In the early days, Angelina was often accused of simply mimicking the greats like Billie Holiday or Dinah Washington. Skeptics argued that as she grew older, that old soul rasp would fade away, leaving behind a generic adult voice. They were wrong. As we track her progress into 2026, vocal analysts have noted a terrifyingly beautiful transformation. Her voice hasn't just matured, it has expanded into a multi-octave powerhouse that spans from deep, haunting contralto notes to soaring operatic highs. This shift, which fans are calling her new era sound, became the centerpiece of her 2026 live shows. Observers at her recent rehearsals have reported that she now possesses a resonance that physically vibrates the room, a phenomenon usually reserved for legendary opera singers. This isn't just about practice, it's about a physiological evolution that has left the medical community puzzled. Some vocal experts suggest that her early years spent imitating complex jazz patterns actually rewired her vocal muscles, allowing her to access tones that most singers simply cannot reach. However, this power comes with its own set of rumors. In early 2026, speculation surfaced on social media regarding a medical incident involving her throat, with some suggesting she had undergone surgery to preserve her tone. Our investigation, however, points toward a much more natural, albeit grueling, training regimen. She reportedly spends hours in silent meditation before shows to protect the instrument that has become a global phenomenon. As she approaches her 21st birthday, the voice that once sounded like a ghost from the 1920s has become the definitive sound of the 2020s. But as she mastered her voice, she began to collaborate with people who many believe are helping her hide a much larger secret. What happens when the man behind All of Me, and If I Were a Boy, teams up with a girl who claims to hear music in her dreams? In 2025, the music world was set ablaze when photos surfaced of Angelina Jordan in a secluded studio with Toby Gad, one of the most successful songwriters in history. This wasn't just a standard writing session. It was the birth of the Secret of the Soul project. Our sources indicate that these sessions were unlike anything Gad had ever experienced. Instead of using modern digital tools and pitch correction, the duo reportedly recorded using vintage analog equipment from the 1950s, seeking a haunted quality that digital files simply can't capture. The rumors surrounding these sessions are intense. Some assistants claimed that Jordan would arrive with fully formed melodies that she claimed came to her in vivid dreams, melodies that sounded like long-lost standards from an era she never lived through. The album that emerged in 2026, Secret of the Soul, was a middle finger to the industry's reliance on AI and ghostwriters. Every lyric was reportedly penned or overseen by Jordan herself, dealing with themes of isolation, spiritual awakening, and the price of the pedestal. But critics have pointed out a series of strange, low-frequency hums and hidden messages buried in the tracks. Fans have spent months decoding the lyrics, with many believing the album is a roadmap to her true origin. Is it possible that Toby Gad discovered something in Angelina's voice that goes beyond music? Some speculate that the album contains sonic frequencies designed to trigger emotional responses in the listener, a theory that has only added to the Jordan mystique. As the album climbed the independent charts in 2026, the collaboration with Gad proved that Angelina didn't need a label's hit-making department. She had a direct line to the subconscious of her audience. But as her music became more ethereal, her live performances began to take on a religious, almost supernatural quality that reignited the most controversial theory in her career. In 2026, Angelina Jordan took the stage where Elvis Presley once stood, and for many in the audience it wasn't just a concert, it was a resurrection. Las Vegas has seen it all, from the Rat Pack to the modern spectacles of Adele and U2. But when Angelina Jordan announced her 2026 residency at the Westgate Las Vegas resort, a chill went through the industry. This is the house that Elvis built, a room filled with the ghosts of musical royalty. From the opening night, The reincarnation rumors that have dogged her since she was 7 years old reached a fever pitch. It wasn't just the voice. It was the movements, the stage presence, and the way she seemed to interact with invisible forces on that historic stage. Our reporters on the ground noted that the audience wasn't just young fans, but older generations who claimed she reminded them of someone they used to know in a past life. The speculation became so intense that Angelina Jordan reincarnation became a trending topic globally in mid-2026. While skeptics point to her years of studying old film reels as the source of her vintage mannerisms, others aren't so sure. There are documented accounts from staff at the Westgate who claim that Jordan would often talk to the walls of the dressing room, as if consulting with the legends who stayed there before her. This residency solidified her status not just as a singer, but as a cultural phenomenon that bridges the gap between the living and the dead. The Vegas resurrection, as the media called it, was the ultimate validation of her independent path. She didn't need a viral TikTok dance. She had the gravitas of a soul that seemed to have lived 1,000 years. But as the lights dimmed on her final Vegas performance, a new shadow began to loom over her future. Was she becoming too successful for her own safety, or was the weight of these past lives starting to take a toll on the woman behind the voice? As we look toward the 2027 global tour, the question isn't whether Angelina Jordan will survive the industry. It's whether the industry can survive someone like her. We conclude our special report with a look at what lies ahead for the girl who redefined the child star narrative. Most performers who start at 7 are burnt out or off the rails by age 20. Angelina Jordan, however, has managed to navigate the treacherous waters of fame with a level of dignity and privacy that is almost unheard of in the digital age. As she prepares for her projected 2027 world tour, her team is reportedly fielding offers from every major festival on the planet. But the path forward is fraught with new challenges. In an era where AI can mimic any voice, Angelina's flawless human performance is her greatest asset, but it also makes her a target for those who want to commodify her likeness. There are whispers of a major film deal in the works, a biopic where she would play a legendary jazz singer, but sources say she is hesitant to step into the Hollywood trap. Our analysis suggests that her true legacy will be her role as a tech-independent titan. By using 2026 technology to distribute old-world soul, she has created a hybrid career model that is being studied by business schools around the world. But beyond the numbers and the legal battles, there is the girl herself. Friends describe her as someone who is still remarkably grounded, often spending her free time painting or writing poetry in complete solitude. She has avoided the criminal accusations and substance issues that have claimed so many of her peers, choosing instead to live a life of disciplined artistry. As she moves into her third decade of life, Angelina Jordan stands as a testament to the power of a promise. Whether she is a reincarnation, a biological marvel, or simply a girl who worked harder than everyone else, one thing is certain: the evolution is far from over. And as long as she remains barefoot, she remains untouchable.